Hi, everyone. This is Andy Armacost, and thank you so much for joining us for tonight's town hall with students and family members. And here we are, we're getting ready for the end of the semester, and commencement is just around the corner. This signals an important time for the University of North Dakota, where we celebrate and honor those who have put their hard work in, whether for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, who knows how long. But it's a chance to celebrate all that they've accomplished in their degree programs. So tonight is a chance for you to ask any questions that you have of the team. So we have you can't see them all, but I can. A great collection of leaders from across the campus who are here to answer your questions. And just know that they've put their heart and soul into making sure that this campus is the best that it can be, that we offer your students the most transformative life experiences that they can get, whether it's in the classroom or out of the classroom. We want to make sure that people leave UND with a sense of opportunity and a sense of leadership. So they're here to answer any questions that you have. We know that we've made a transition deeply from our previous town hall, where we were talking largely about COVID and the pandemic response. And certainly there'll be some questions tonight about what lay ahead, but my guess is you have other questions as well. And so tonight I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Cassie Gerhardt, our Associate Vice President for Student Affairs. She does a great job moderating this session, and she'll call on the appropriate leader who's with us today for those questions. Cassie, welcome. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, President Armacost. Thanks so much.
And when are we going to get some spring weather around here?
I think we were just talking, per my phone, it's supposed to be 61 degrees on Wednesday, which around here, 61 feels summer-like. So we're going to get some 60s for the next week leading into finals. So it's coming, even though for those of you joining us from afar, there was a dusting of snow this morning as we got up. So even in May, we do get snow in North Dakota. Yes, thumbs down is what President Armacost is doing. Good evening, everybody. As President Armacost said, my name is Cassie Gerhardt, and I have the pleasure of serving as our Associate Vice President for Student Affairs. As we've done in the past, we welcome your questions through the Q&A, so please feel free to start entering your questions. It might take people a couple of minutes to get them entered. And so while we're waiting, President Armacost, I'm gonna send you a question. Why don't you share, you've now had a full year on campus. Well, what's been a highlight for you this past year? Is there anything that stands out as wow, this was a great experience this year?
Well, the year this year was just far different from the previous year. Right. There was much more human interaction. I felt like, along with the rest of the campus leaders, just felt a lot more connected to the students and our ability to get out. And I know Dr. Helwig's online too. She and I would have lunch with students once a month, just to get to know different student leaders. Those types of opportunities are just too good to be true. And this is what being on a college campus is all about, is about those close personal interactions. I should highlight one of the highlights this spring for me was to fly out to San Diego and to receive an award from the American Council on Education. It's an award sponsored by ACE and Fidelity Investments, and it was the Collegiate Transformation Award. And what we highlighted was the significant transformation that's happened on campus, but really highlighting the partnership that we've had with the city of Grand Forks and the amazing things that we've done together, from discussions early on about how do you fix potholes on University Avenue, to exploding that conversation to how do you restructure the very look of that avenue that goes through our campus and into downtown Grand Forks. And that's a metaphor for the great partnerships that we have with the city of Grand Forks, whether it was responding to COVID, whether it's launching new initiatives like, the Space Force work that we're doing with the United States Space Force, to our support to Indigenous Health and the new Department of Indigenous Health within the School of Medicine and Health Sciences. There's just so many opportunities for us to collaborate, and those really came to the forefront this year. And then in addition, I'm still waiting for a question on the Q&A. I'll keep talking until we'll get one. Just the launching of our new strategic planning efforts, right? To really have the campus come together and be involved, students, faculty, and staff members, in the definition of what we want UND to become in the future. And so this is a really exciting opportunity for us. So hopefully what I've said has conjured up some thoughts in the minds of today's viewers, and that they have some interesting questions that lay ahead. Or I'll just keep going back and forth.
Well, President Armacost, I am going to say, I think one of the highlights for our students, especially on campus, has been the opportunities to run into you and Mrs. Armacost, whether it's when you've been in the union at events or having dinner at Wilkerson. I see students posting their selfies with Andy and coming up to you. And so my thanks to you and Mrs. Armacost for being ever present on this campus. I know faculty, staff, and especially students have enjoyed the many opportunities they've had to connect with you. So thank you for that.
And I have to make sure I highlight something. It's great that the students appreciate that. They appreciate that from every member of this team. There's so many touch points, and I'm looking on here, Beth Helwig, Cassie Gerhardt. Of course, I'm looking at you because you're staring at me. Christy Okerlund, Donna Smith, Eric Link, our provost, Chief Clark, who is out and about, Josh Winn, whose presence at SMHS and across the campus has been so notable, especially when he was serving as the interim president. I mean, just so many people across the campus care so deeply about the success of the students. And so while I might get written up on whatever social media as, hey, there was a sighting of Armacost, but it's really about all of us and what we do for our students on a daily basis.
It is, it is. Well, we're still waiting for Q&A, which sometimes not having questions means maybe all the communications that come out is a great thing. And so we'll continue to give it a little bit of time. I do know my colleague, Chelsea Mellentine, was waiting and she had a few points of advice. So Chelsea, I'm gonna take the president off the hot seat of providing updates and maybe give you some time. I know you had some reminders you wanted to share with our attendees this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cassie. Chelsea Mellentine, Assistant Director for Career Services and Academic Advising here on campus. Just a reminder, registration is open. Courses are filling quickly. So if you have not yet scheduled an appointment with your advisor, please make sure to do that. You can do that through our Starfish platform. You just go right out there into that and you can find out what open availability they have. Also, we do have walk-in advising over in McCannell 280 for any student that would like to just stop in and see an advisor. That happens Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so please feel free to stop on over. Again, courses are filling. We've also started our new advisement and registration for our incoming class of students. And so very excited to get that process kicked off. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to the und.advising@und.edu email.
Chelsea, I will say on behalf of the families and parents of all of our incoming students, kudos to you and your team for all that you do. For those who might not be aware, I am now going to pivot and become the parent of an incoming student. And so I've been able to see it from a different vantage point as my son gets ready. And so my thanks to you and your team for all that you do and the great communications you provide to incoming students. It's a different lens now when I'm the mom of a student rather than just a staff member supporting students. So my thanks to you all. So we have no questions yet, which I'm going to just say is a testament to Vice President Linder, who leads our marketing and communications team and all the communications that are sent out. But I also am looking, and colleagues, I can see you on the screen if you wave to me, if you have updates that you want to share with folks. Again, people have busy lives. If they don't have questions, we don't need to stay on the line, but I do know if some of you had updates you were hoping to share, please just give me a wave and I'll pivot and introduce you. We'll remind everybody we're getting into commencement season. So as a reminder, this coming Saturday, we will celebrate the commencements of our law school and medical students, 2 separate ceremonies. The law students graduate in the morning and our med students in the afternoon. And then next Saturday on May the 14th, we have 2 ceremonies where we will celebrate in the morning our graduate students, so master's, PhD, doctors of physical therapy, and EDD students. And then in the afternoon, we will celebrate in person our undergraduate students. So we are all very excited to join in person at the Alaris Center for the undergraduate commencement and graduate on the 14th. And then the law and medical school commencements take place this weekend at the Chester Fritz Auditorium. All wonderful events. And based on what I can see, no snow in the forecast for commencement exercises. At least we hope and have fingers crossed.
Hey, Cassie, it's Andy Armacost again. I was just thumbing through who's attending, and I need to give a big shout out to Glenda Linseth, who is online. Hi, Glenda. Congratulations. So Glenda was appointed as a Chester Fritz Distinguished Professor. Among our faculty members, this is the highest honor that one can receive. And so we're so proud of Glenda and what she's done. And so if you're out there, I don't know, she just signed off. No, she didn't really. But congratulations, Glenda. We're so proud of you.
So first question is about housing. When will freshmen know housing for summer? My son is still waiting for his info for Norrin. You know, I don't know, and we do not have our colleague from housing on the line. So Lori, who asked that, if you wouldn't mind, since I don't have your email, if you drop me an email, and it's just the Cassie.Gerhart, so you see my name on the screen, Cassie.Gerhart@und.edu, I will get you connected to my colleagues in housing who can help answer that question very specifically. And if you include your son's name, I can look up ID number and we can get that information to you specifically. So I apologize. So, and my UIT folks. So you can do it at the Cassie.Gerhart, or Chastity.Gerhart will also get to me. So thanks. Our UIT team is just putting it in the chat. But Cassie.Gerhart will get you, and I'm happy to look that one up. In terms of, we've got a mom of a junior here at UND, so I'm assuming third-year student who's in New Jersey. When will information come out next year so I can plan flights, rooms, and such for graduation ceremonies? You know, the date of commencement, if your student is an undergraduate student, those dates are already set in advance. And so, Chelsea, maybe are you in front of a computer? Can you pull, I can pull them up. I don't want to get distracted, but we can pull those up if you go to the commencement webpage. We know that it's always the Saturday at the conclusion of finals week. And so here we'll search for you. That's if your student is graduating in May, Paula. So I don't want to assume, I'm going to assume the way you asked that question that it is a May commencement. And we'll just see, oh, they only have out winter 22. We can figure out May. We know the system cap. Christy Okerlund, you got the date, sorry.
Saturday, May 13th of 2023.
So if you got that, Paula, Saturday, May 13th of 2023. And commencement exercises are the morning for graduate students, and then the afternoon, and when I say afternoon, I think it's 2 o'clock if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 p.m. for our undergraduate students on that Saturday. And Paula, that's the way they've been for a number of years, so I don't anticipate changes. If your student is graduating in August or December, obviously those dates would be different. But again, you can also just email me, and I'm happy to get you connected with our colleagues in commencement, in ceremonies and special events who handle our commencement exercises. So question I'm seeing now, and Provost Link, I may look to you for this one. My daughter is hoping to be an international student in 2023. Any advice for a Canadian student applying, or for someone from Canada applying? If you've got some advice.
Yeah, I actually do have some advice. Hi, everybody, and thanks for the great question. I'm gonna probably hand this off to Chelsea in a moment, but first I want to point out that if you go to the UND main page and you click on admissions at the top, then you will see a link to international admissions. And within that, I know we're 4 clicks in now, but there was a whole page dedicated just to students from Canada. That talks about the entrance requirements and so forth related to our students from Canada to the north. So the best advice I can give you is to go to that particular page. There's lots of information there. While I've been talking, I'm actually looking at it on another screen right here. There's all information there about Canadian student immigration regulations, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't want to put you on the spot, Chelsea, but is there any other specific advice you might have?
You pretty much nailed the advice that I was going to give. I would just say if there are any questions, we have a wonderful staff over at the International Center that would be happy to answer any questions. So on that page that Provost Link pointed out, there is contact the International Center. Feel free to reach out anytime if you do have any questions. They'd be happy to assist.
So everybody is planning for commencement. So I see, and I think Christy's going to type an answer in terms of the graduation dates for summer 23 and winter 23. Christy, did you look them up, or I can as well?
We don't have those confirmed yet through my colleagues in the commencement office, but I'm happy to send the family an email tomorrow if that's okay, if they can email me.
Yeah, so if you want to email,
I'll type in the chat. I'll type an answer.
Great, Christy.Okerlund or Cassie.Gerhart, we can get you those dates because we do know them. They're just not on our website yet, so we're happy to get those. Sometimes one of the things with summer, please watch, because we do it at the Chester Fritz Auditorium in the size of our classes, we do multiple ceremonies and we have a few colleges featured at every ceremony. So that's one of the things we'll just need to double check. So if you happen to know, not we know that those plans are set for specific colleges, but certainly we can get the dates. Great questions. It is an exciting time of year to get ready for commencement. That's awesome. And Christy's email they've added to our chat from our UIT folks. So my appreciation to them. My colleagues on the line, other things you wanted to share? We're getting all the questions. We got all the commencement questions answered. So Provost Link, it's all you.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to, in the spirit of President Armacost sharing the good news about the ACE Award. Just recently, UND won another award sponsored by the Western Interstate Commission on Higher Education. And this was an award, again, that had to do with the transformative and innovative nature of the work that we're doing here at UND. And specifically, this award was to recognize the outstanding efforts at the university on what are called OERs, Open Educational Resources. We have really invested a lot of time and energy into developing a series of resources at campus that allows for some of our classes, not all of them, but some of our classes on campus to actually reduce textbook costs to students, which makes their UND education more affordable and opens up all kinds of opportunities for taking classes that students might not otherwise be able to take. So we're really proud of the work that's going on campus, and I wanted to share that with all of the parents and the students who are listening tonight.
It is good. We all know UND is amazing. It is nice when other people identify our amazingness in awards. So kudos to everybody who's involved in those nominations and selection processes.
Hey, Cassie, speaking of amazingness, I thought I'd ask our athletic director, Bill Chaves, to give an update on the NFL draft.
Absolutely, Dr. Armacost. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Chaves. I'm the Director of Athletics. Happy to be here tonight. Thanks for having us. Matt Waletzko, as a young man that was drafted this past weekend by some would say America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Others would maybe not say that if you're a Steeler fan, let's just say. But at the end of the day, we're really excited about Matt going on and becoming a Cowboy. And he's a great story. He came to us and was really ultimately a basketball player and football player, and came and just worked really, really hard. And I think he's going to have a great, great NFL career. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, and just one point about our football team and our sports teams in general. For those who don't know, there's a competition every year among all the sports programs across universities in the US for community service hours. And this year, the University of North Dakota was the #1 school for community service hours by our student athletes. And so this goes to show the great character and furthermore, the example set by the coaches and the athletic staff who have those high expectations for the whole people, right? Not just for the athlete, but for them developing into good citizens as well. So I'm really proud of that. And then furthermore, our football team last season won our first year in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, won the academic award. They had the highest GPA of all the football teams in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And this is just an exceptional story about what we expect of our student athletes, what we expect of all of our students, in fact, is to become good, productive human beings who go out and lead and do great things.
Always fun to hear UND's name said during the NFL draft. So it's outstanding. It's outstanding. So a question, and Provost Link, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I don't know how familiar you are with AVIT 102. Christy, I know you've got some experience answering these questions, or Chelsea if others, but we've got a question. My aviation student won't finish Aviation 102 by next week due to all the weather issues. So for those of you not aware, this is a flight course, and certainly our spring weather has delayed some of our students. How far into May is my student allowed time to finish his flight training? So Provost or Chelsea, Christy, and we deal with this. This is not an uncommon situation here at the University of North Dakota. So for those who have some details.
Well, I'll start off and then I'll quickly get out of the way and let Christy and Chelsea take over. What I can say is that while I don't know the specific answer to that question, because every case and every course is a little bit different, I do know that all of our colleagues over in the Order Guard School work really hard to make sure that the students are able to complete those courses in a timely fashion. So I'm sure that the professors and the leadership team over in the Order Guard School are working to make sure that we can get those hours in as quickly as possible. That said, I couldn't say off the top of my head what a specific end date might be, but perhaps Chelsea or Christy have a little bit more information they could share.
Take this one, Christy.
Yeah, thanks, Chelsea.
Yep, so I took down the name of the individual who asked the question, or at least the email. So I'm happy to use that email if that's the preferred email you'd like me to use, or I can throw my email in the chat as well, so that you can email me and I can connect you with Lindsay Archer over in the Aviation. She helps handle all of those Aviation 102 courses specifically.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chelsea. So Stephanie, if you send that email, we'll follow up specifically there. Stephanie got it, thanks. So President Armacost, I've got a question that really it's kind of you and Bill Chaves, and it's one that's probably about UND's master plan. The question is, any chance of funds being invested in the UND pool? So I assume this is the reference to our swimming pool at the Hislop. So if you want to visit, or if you and Bill want to visit a little bit about where we're at with master planning related to Hislop, and most specifically our swimming pool.
I'll take the first part, and Bill, you can add to the discussion as well. The pool is, and in particular, the building surrounding the pool is not in great shape. Hislop, that building, I don't know what year it was built, but it's showing its age, and so we continue to invest in the repair of that facility and to make sure that we can keep operating the pool as long as possible. You might know, or you might have seen news in the Grand Forks Herald about the city of Grand Forks putting together a study team to look at a facility that would have indoor turf for things like soccer and softball and other sports, as well as a competitive multi-lane pool, a 50-meter pool that would allow both high schools and colleges to compete at. And so this is, we're waiting to see what that study tells us and whether or not there's a public-private partnership that will emerge to actually create such a facility. It would be a huge win, I think, for the entire city of Grand Forks, for the high schools, for the swim clubs, and for students at UND who want to use a pool like that to keep going. If the future of the pool on campus will likely be linked to the future of that particular project, and so eager to see where that one goes. Bill, over to you.
Yeah, no, I think you've handled it extremely well, and you know, all of the facilities that if you just come onto campus, you know that the university is almost being remade right before our very eyes. And so we're just part of that as well. Hislop was born in 1951 and has served us well. And so is continuing to serve us well, as that's where my office is. But at the end, I think we are working with our community partners to make sure that we're thoughtful about some things moving forward. So so again, all part of the master plan for the university.
Thanks, Bill and President Armacost. Provost Link, I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you mind sharing maybe an overview of where we're at with esports, kind of the exciting time on campus, a new academic program for those parents out there who thought their kids could never make something of their video game playing? We are here to prove that we can turn that into a degree program. So do you want to visit a little bit about esports?
Yeah, Cassie, thank you so much. I'm happy to talk about all the exciting stuff going on at UND surrounding esports. There really is quite a bit going on. I'll highlight two things in particular. First, Cassie, as you just hinted, we have just approved the very first major in the state of North Dakota in a Bachelor of Science in esports. This is not just 120 hours of course credit sitting around playing League of Legends or other games, but competitive esports gaming could certainly be a part of that curriculum. This really is a degree program that is the first of its kind in the area that looks at marketing competitive esports, the business of competitive esports, how to run an esports program. It covers a lot of ground. We're really excited about this, this new major. Competitive esports gaming has become I don't know what the latest figure is, but a multi-billion-dollar industry with huge competitions all around the world. And we are one of the first to get out there in front with some academic programming built around it to prepare those students who are interested in the business side of competitive esports gaming to get some real academic experience. The second thing I'd like to mention is also really exciting. We are just beginning to break ground on the creation of a new competitive esports gaming facility on campus. This will be, when it's completed, I'm not really sure, 5 or 6 months from now, fingers crossed, right? It takes a little time. But once we have this project done, it will be a state-of-the-art facility and the best of its kind in the region. It will have areas for our varsity competitive teams to engage in competitions. It'll have spaces for training and teaching and practice. It's going to have a professional broadcast booth so that our competitive esports competitions can be professionally broadcast out into the world. We're really excited about this particular facility. Construction, like I said, is going to be getting underway probably in the next month or so, and an anticipated opening date of hopefully by the end of the year. So we're really excited about these new developments in esports, both on the academic side and on the varsity competition side. Thanks for the question, Cassie.
Yeah, no, it's great. Esports are an exciting thing at my house. My sons both play. They just played a high school state sanctioned tournament. We went to the end of the year esports banquet last week. So this is certainly what is up and coming.
And Cassie, for sports purists,
yes,
it's easy to dismiss this, but
yes,
there are NFL stadium owners and NBA arena owners who are selling their facilities out for esports competitions. And to those who haven't participated, it might seem a little odd or irregular, but it's a truly competitive action. And I've also understood, I saw our coach the other day, and he had said that for the incoming class, there are 20 students who are esports team members who have chosen to come to the University of North Dakota because of this new program. Pretty exciting.
Very exciting. President Armacost, a question that we've received for you and Provost Link. The question is, something many of our graduate students run into is accessing high impact journals which are difficult to access. What are some priorities for bolstering our library and the resources available through it, and for helping students grow as researchers?
So I'll be happy to.
Yeah, I was going to throw it right to you.
Yeah, I'm happy to start on that, and then we'll turn it over to anyone else who wants to add a few comments if they'd like. So maintaining a strong research library is absolutely critical to our mission here at UND. And we have great staff, a great dean of libraries over there who is, I assure everyone, working really hard every day to make sure that we can get as many resources out to the community as possible. Students, staff, faculty, we all access the library on a nearly daily basis, and we want to make sure that it meets the needs of our student. No library really can have everything. We try to make sure that we track journals and books and other resources that would have the greatest impact on campus. That doesn't mean that every single nuanced resource that a particular grad student, for instance, might need will be available in our library, but we do have interlibrary loan and other partnership agreements with other libraries around the region and the nation, where our librarians can try and track down the resources that aren't in our library, but which you might need for your particular research project. If there is a particular journal, a high impact journal, that we do not have access to, and we can't get you access to it through an interlibrary loan arrangement or agreement, what I would do, if it's important to your research, is let the library staff know. All it takes is an email. You can send it to, or just walk into the library and find any reference librarian, any circulation librarian, and just say, hey, I'm a grad student. This particular resource is really important to me. Is there any way you can help me get access to it? The librarians are really good at working magic. They can get you resources that might seem on the surface that they're not available. So please continue to use the library. We'll continue to resource it as best we can. We want to keep it the strongest library in the state and in the region. And we're really proud of the work that's going on over there. Thanks for the great question.
No problem. I'm going to pivot and call on Josh Winn. I think, Dr. Winn, you want to share some comments. It's probably the first town hall since COVID started where the first 7 questions weren't COVID related, and I was leaning on you. So I welcome the opportunity for you to share and appreciate that we've gotten this far before we have to say some health related things. So Dr. Winn, it's all you.
Thank you very much. Yes, and I'm delighted that it's not about COVID. So let me just give a little perspective because I think it's a really good question. So the School of Medicine and Health Sciences has another library to supplement the central library, specifically devoted to the health disciplines. And I would just say that I agree with you about the challenge of getting some journals. Let me put it in context. Library costs, and it's especially for electronic journals, is going up somewhere between 9, 10, 11% per year. So this is a real challenge for institutions. I don't know what it is across the board, but I know in our area, it's going up that much. So what we do to try to make sure that our students and researchers get access to the journals they need is we try to stay in touch with them to see which journals they need that they're having trouble accessing. And then we try to go through the contracting process of working with the suppliers who give us the electronic journals to make sure that that journal is included. What the suppliers do is they bundle things. So they put a lot of stuff together and you have to buy the whole thing. But that doesn't mean the journal that you want is necessarily in there. So we really try to negotiate hard with them and use the power of joining with other similar institutions to try to make sure we can get the journals that you need. But you're right, we're not always successful in getting everything for everyone. We have to balance the general need and not just an individual need. But I just want to assure you that we are receptive and try to be responsive when we hear from students or faculty that they can't get easy access to the journal they want. I acknowledge that it's a challenging problem. We'll work on it. It's not always a successful outcome, but we do give it the effort to really try to be responsive to student and faculty needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Winn. I think your points are well taken. This university certainly does whatever it can do to help researchers wherever we can. So thank you for that. I see our questions starting to wrap up, so I'll maybe do a last call for questions. I do want to remind everybody, we are well aware that it is a stressful time of year for our students as they wrap up final projects, get ready for final exams week. I was looking at the calendar. This week, there are a number of events going on for students to take a little bit of study break, to unwind, before they return to studying. So even tonight at 7 o'clock, students can test their luck at their Harry Potter trivia here in the Student Union. For those of you who celebrate it, May the 4th be with you is coming up on Wednesday for those Star Wars fans out there. And you will be able to get root beer floats here in the Student Union. We've got De-Stress Fest going on at our Wellness Center. If I'm not mistaken, I think therapy dogs are going to be on campus this week. Wilkerson Dining Center has a Star Wars themed meal on Wednesday. We have Moonlight Pizza on Thursday evening from 10 o'clock till midnight, where students can get pizza in the residence halls. There is Study-a-thon on Sunday, hosted by our fraternity and sorority community, but open to the campus. Sunday evening from 7 to 8:30 is the final exam feast, so students can stop by and get breakfast and do some carb loading before final exams. So certainly we know it is about wrapping up this semester academically, but for students who maybe need a break to unwind just a little bit in between studying for exam, lots of things going on that are certainly appropriate to supporting students' mental health and their ongoing success in the classroom and their academics. So I hope students will take advantage. It was a long list of things in today's Student Life Weekly that all of our students will have received. So, Dr. Winn, here's a question for you. You'll love to answer this one more than any COVID question I've ever shared with you. So this individual shares her son is graduating in May and has been accepted to the UND Medical School starting in July. Is there going to be an in-person white coat ceremony?
Okay, thank you for the question, Cassie. So for people who may not be familiar, the white coat ceremony is a ceremony where students, typically first-year students, are actually given the white coat that they wear when they do their clinical rotations. The white coats are a gift from the North Dakota Medical Association, and it is a pretty exciting event when students literally are welcomed into the medical profession. I do the oath of Hippocrates with them, and I work hard to not get emotional because each time I say it, it's very moving for me. So that's just by way of introduction. And tomorrow I am meeting with the current first-year class president because their white coat ceremony was delayed by, guess what, the pandemic. So we're scheduling that now. He and I will talk about it tomorrow. But yes, I have every expectation that for your child and the incoming class starting this summer, that we will be doing the white coat ceremony in person the way we've done it in the years prior to the pandemic. So let's hope the pandemic does make the transition to endemic. And if it does, we will be having a white coat ceremony in the traditional way. And I look forward to welcoming all of the new students to the medical profession.
I know you love that event, Dr. Winn. It's one I know our students love as well. So it's good that we can get back to some of those ceremonial experiences. I'm not seeing any more questions in the Q&A. So President Armacost, I think I'm going to turn it over to you if you've got any closing comments.
Just to thank everybody for signing in, and thanks to the panelists who spent their evening offering great advice to the students and family members who signed in today. And maybe I'm wrong, but somebody has a question. So keep typing, Brody Bullen. And as that question comes up, this is, again, the end of the year is this amazing celebration for the achievements of each of our students. And whether one is graduating or moving on to the next year of their studies at UND, it's a time to reflect upon all the great things that have happened, to challenge ourselves to get better, and really to make UND the best possible campus that we can. And so thanks to everybody for jumping in. Okay, so do you have to have a vaccine to attend? And that's the question from Brody. Hey, Brody, to attend what? The white coat ceremony or to attend commencement? Well, we could probably answer both of those. Do you have to be vaccinated to attend commencement? The ceremony, he says. Well, let's talk commencement first. There's no requirement to have a vaccination to attend commencement. And Josh, I don't believe there's a requirement for the white coat ceremony either, although I think all of your medical students have an expectation to be vaccinated, at least as they go into their clinical work with a health system that may require vaccinations. Over to you, Josh.
Yeah, so we do not have a requirement for vaccination. As the president indicated, many of our more advanced students, the third year and fourth year students, may be required by the hospital they work in or the clinic they work in to be vaccinated, but the school and the university do not require that. We will not be requiring it for any of our events. We are encouraging people who will be attending our graduation-related ceremonies in the next week to test at home with one of the antigen tests before they come to the event, but it will not be a requirement, and we do not require vaccination. Having said that, let me just remind everyone that the best way we can continue the transition from an epidemic or a pandemic into a more endemic situation is by getting as many people vaccinated as possible. But it will not be a requirement to show that you're vaccinated to be at any of the events.
Sounds good. Thank you both. I think we're getting a few more questions. Maybe one more I'll take here. And the question, and it's hard to know depending on major. So Provost Link, President Armacost, Dr. Winn, the question is, what resources are in place or what plans are being considered to help graduate students learn about the facilities, lab spaces, equipment, course offerings in departments other than their own and make use of them? So I'm not sure that I know how graduate students access lab spaces outside of their specific major or if they have access. So I'm at a loss. So I'm going to look to the three of you if you've got any thoughts on this question.
It's an interesting question, Cassie, and I'm not sure we have a great answer for it because most of that work is done at the college level. So the college deans, of course, through the onboarding process of new graduate students and consultation with our School of Graduate Studies, of course, would certainly make information about the resources available across campus to those students. Formal mechanisms at the institutional level, that is what I'm not sure about. But certainly the School of Graduate Studies itself is a great resource. And so any incoming grad student who simply wanted to get an overview of what resources were available could certainly reach out to the graduate school and get some information about that.
I would just say specifically for the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, we maintain a list that's available. I'm pretty sure it's online, but if not, just check with my office and we will get it to you. But I'm pretty sure it's online of research interests and research faculty who are working in a specific area. It's a pretty extensive list. And then the best thing to do if the graduate student sees an area of interest is to contact that faculty member to learn about what opportunities there are. We have any number of programs to support student research at various levels, both already enrolled as well as some of those who are not yet enrolled. So we have a number of different programs. And if the interest is in the health sciences, please check our website or check with my office and we will connect you with those opportunities because we do have an inventory of who is working in what area and what opportunities there are for student participation and students at various levels, including graduate students.
President Armacost, anything else you want to add? I know we've got a few things, I think, separate conversations happening amongst people in the Q&A, so I'm not seeing questions maybe that we can answer.
Nope, that's it. I already said my thanks to everybody for being here, and everybody keep working hard. Finals, if you're a student, keep plugging away hard for finals. I know it's a stressful time, but you have people, you have friends who are there to support you and your family as well. So, so good luck with your examinations, and hopefully everybody can enjoy a peaceful summer.